Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome to another Maniacs Podcast for Tuesday, June 27th. Should I do that every episode now? We'll date it, timestamp it. Yeah?
You can. That's a nice personalized touch and addition to the show. I like it.
Right.
I love your innovation and creativity, Mr.
I'm filled with innovation. Creative juices are flowing.
I know. I understand. You are the master of innovator.
Oh man, you don't even know.
You are steering this ship for us. You carry the show. You the man.
Or running it into an iceberg. Who knows? Too soon?
Well, whatever. We go to the top of the mountain or the bottom of the sea. It's like, at least we know if we get on shit, it'll be pressurized right.
Exactly. Oh, too soon? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Honored, grateful, thankful that you guys decided to spend some time with us as we dive into everything crypto. No, who are we joking? Everything Hive, everything Leo. That's what we do at the Maniacs Podcast. You can go listen to some shills, go shill Bitcoin and Ethereum if you want. We'll just shill Hive and Leo. Sounds good? I'm all for it. Good for it? Yeah.
Sure, we could try that. That'll be new.
Yeah. Anyways, welcome to everyone watching it on Vim. Crazy Cowboy, that's Rich Taylor, as well as Best Start, John Novak. Hello, welcome, guys.
Where's Toby guys? Did he hide?
Oh, he'll be here. He asked the questions in the Threadcast.
I know, but did he hit and run?
I'm sure he'll be here.
He may have had to run out and get some beer.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask you a question before we get into everyone else's questions. As you know, I have the 9 to 5 now. Well, it's more like the 7 a.m. to 5 these days, and I missed the AMA today, and I'm sure there was lots of juicy stuff that I missed. So, do you mind recapping for our listeners and viewers what was going on with the AMA, all the juicy stuff that happened with Leo over the past 48 hours or so, just so I can know what's going on, because I'm out of the loop completely. So
nothing.
Please.
I mean, we had an update, but a lot of this stuff is broken. We have GIFs now on Hive. We have emojis back. On Leo. We have emojis back on Leo. That excited everybody yesterday. They were. Somebody said I dropped my first emoji. They said that today. I said you should have been here yesterday. I think some people had finished their first 100. So that returned. The edit button finally is
long
form content. There's actually 2 edit buttons. There's one for edit, which is what we had before, and there's also a light version, which if you want to do a couple quick changes, you can use the light version. Unfortunately, it's my experience. I don't know if it's changed. It takes a while for Leo Infra or whatever to read the updates. So you will make the changes and 20 minutes later. It'll show up on PT immediately, but it'll take like 20 minutes on Leo for whatever reason. Right. So that's a big one. There's another update coming with some of the other issues. I think they said the wraparound when you're typing on the long form where it would just wrap around. Like, so if you were starting to type a word like cryptocurrency, you might get CRY on the end of the first line and then the rest on the next. So they corrected that, but it still does it on threads. So basically, nothing really revealing. They're still playing with the ads and the placements and trying to move them around and optimize them as best as possible to see what gets the best rates. There's three different companies: CoinZilla, Google AdSense, and then one other, Bit something or other. So those 3 are the advertising platforms. There are plans eventually to remove them, and Leo's going to do its own advertising platforms. That way you cut out the middleman, and what you charge people, if you charge them, I don't know, just picking out a round number, $50 a month, then $50 in ad revenue shows up as opposed to $50 worth of business to CoinZilla, and they take 48 of it, and Leo gets 2 or whatever. So that was a future plan. Not really a whole lot of stuff. A lot of questions about certain issues and certain bugs, and Cal made some notes, or he said we're aware of that, and if it's what I'm thinking of, there's this one bug that we're addressing. So, and even after the AMA, I went and made a sandwich. And by the time I got back, I was logged out. So they had done an update and a refresh. So it was one of those not real earth shattering, but the earth shattering was the post yesterday and the updates and the speed. A lot of this last update was back end stuff. So Callie said just go to your tabs and click from curate to profile to all the different things there, notifications, and see how quick it is. And it's a lot quicker than it used to be. So some people still having a problem with pictures. The links are no longer at the top thread unless you have an 80 rep or above, which there's not but a handful of people. But that's going to end up and probably not in the too long distance future. That's going to be changed to some type of system based upon Leo power holding. So, not anybody can just turn around and spam their links. But if you have whatever the level is, and there was no mention of it, but if you have certain levels, then you can access it. And that's been mentioned before. That's part of the Leo Twitter blue type concept is, instead of having people pay each month like Elon is, by staking Leo, certain levels will access certain features of the blockchain or of the platform. And if you want those features, then you have to, stake that much Leo. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, I noticed yesterday with the updates. I mean, the big thing was the way that you can engage with the threads now. How you can have one thread, like the container, let's say, not your container, but you would have it, and they open up now individually instead of opening a new page. It opens up really nice in a little pop-up box, and that's peace of mind for me because it was pain in the butt navigating throughout if you'd get multiple comments. And so
except remember when you open them up on desktop in another tab, that's a click. So
but see, this is the thing. Like I get that we want clicks, but at the same time, it's not that I want to game the system. I'm not saying it is gaming the system. I want to play by the rules. Like, so if I'm on a page, I know that it will, if I open a new page, that counts as a click, but I just take it as I'm on that page. I'm opening up a thread. I'm still on the page, opening up a thread, a comment.
If you click on a thread, it actually opens up in a new page. It has a new URL. Right. So if you click on the thread before commenting, you are going to that thread's URL. That's a different page. And then you comment on it and you leave your comment. But out of the notifications, what you're doing then is you're actually going to that thread's comment or the comment in that thread effectively. And, when you get a lot of comments, that's helpful because a lot of times I'll see it and I won't know what the hell it's in reference to. So I'll have to click back, and then sometimes I have to follow the thread up a couple levels to figure out what the hell this person's talking about. But, and I hope, and I haven't mentioned this, but I hope they add it to the post because, you click on somebody who commented on your post, you click on it, it just sees the comment. And it's like, well, what post is this related to? What the hell are they talking about? I don't even know. So, these are minor hiccups. And as I said, there's still certain things. I mean, you try to comment on a post comment. It was given an application error. I don't know if they've straightened it out by now. Maybe they have, but this was an error that people were having yesterday and into today. But those are bugs, and they're trying to work them out.
There you go. Tokenizes in Vim. So don't worry.
He got his beer, I'm sure. Or maybe he's drinking rum tonight. I don't know.
It could be. We also got quite a few tuning in.
Maybe he's doing shots of rum with a beer chaser.
Maybe. Could be. Forex Broker is watching, tuning in as well. Sad Cry is also in watching. So good to have you guys. Everyone from Canada to Australia. We really are worldwide. And we got some American guys watching, I guess. Guess the co-host is kind of American too, right? So, yeah.
I only speak English, so that's an American.
Perfect. Very culture. Would you like to dive into people's questions on the thread casts? Let's do it. Here we go. Do. And we'll scroll up to the top. Let's make sure everyone can see. There we go. Yay. There you go. So we're at, what are we, 32 views, 17 questions already. Look at that. What is that generating, man, so far? What are we at? 0.7 Leo generated in ad revenue. So yay, Web3. We love it. First up, Nifty. How do you like the latest Threads updates? That's pretty straightforward and kind of we already addressed it. I love the speed you adjust it. The GIF thing is funny. Crazy Cowboy's watching, and we were talking in Discord the other day when it was launched, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, everyone and their mother is putting GIFs out." And I literally said, "Give it a day, and they'll calm down. It's the novelty; it'll run down." I like the ability to throw GIFs in. I think it adds to it. It's fun. It will not get abused now. The first 24 hours, everyone's going to go crazy. But I don't know. What do you think? You think it'll calm down now?
Yeah, it already has. Today there was nowhere near the GIF traffic there was. And yeah, I mean, I was using Giphy, and it was just a little bit more of a pain in the ass because I had to go to that website, find it, copy it to a clipboard, and move it over. And that worked fine. The problem is I'm not a big fan of how the GIFs and the emojis lay out, but, in terms of when you do your search for your GIF or when you click on the emoji, I wish they would be up higher and a little bigger so you could see. I mean, it's when it's scrolled down like that, especially if you're replying to a comment, on my computer, it's all the way at the bottom of the page, and it's not real pleasant. It should, instead of dropping below, it should drop above, and you can then look at it and scroll down and pick what you want. But
yeah,
they didn't ask me on that, so I don't know. I just work here.
Does it still count as characters when you're putting a link in or a URL or a image? Does that still count?
Yes. That still is. So that's one thing that a GIF does straight from the platform. I don't think it counts. So, but yeah. So when I would go and grab the URL from Giphy,
right?
Yeah, that was character count.
Oh man, we got to get rid of that. Just that. Like, I get short form content. I get the Twitter model, the 240 or was 140 or 120 or whatever it was. And I get bite-sized content. I get it. But I think you will add more to it if the images that you add to your posts or links, not even the links I could see adding as characters, but the like a picture or a GIF or something like that.
Well, the GIF from what's on the application doesn't count. But if you upload a picture, that will. But at a certain point in time, I think that's going to be removed, and you will have 244 characters, and then you'll have, I don't know, maybe 100 extra characters for links or whatever. But the problem is if you don't put, if you just say, okay, 240 and then all the links you want, I mean, you could get people who could put 1,000 links in there. So, there's a happy medium, and I hope they address that soon. And, if you upload a picture and it's, 40 characters, that should not count towards your 240.
Yeah. Tokenized. I'm checking the Threadcast because it's still not updating on our stream, but he has a picture of his laptop with a Heineken. So he said, "Task guessed correctly. Cheers." There you go. So he got his beer.
Yeah.
task reading.
What you might need to do, John, once in a while is open up another tab, copy the URL for the Threadcast, and throw it in the other tab and open it. I found that a lot of times is what refreshes it and will.
Oh yeah, no. If I open it, like if I click the link from the link you sent me today for the Threadcast, every time I click the link, it's the new Threadcast.
Okay,
it's just this one that we have on stream. Like this always happens. I mean, what are we at here? You look at 17 comments. Oops. Go back. Here I am breaking things.
Jeez.
22.
Good thing we didn't go to Susie.com there, John.
I know. Yeah. Okay. So it is updated. So, but
not because you left the page.
Right. I know. Yeah. Well, maybe that's probably it. Anyways, let's keep going. Tokenize up. Hello, Maniacs. Is there a definitive answer or theories on why Bitcoin's max supply was set to 21 million? I mean, in theory, it could have been any other number, right? Yeah, I mean, maybe it's half of the answer is 42, and all you science fiction nerds out there will understand that reference.
Or Jackie Robinson lovers.
It could be 42 Jackie Robinson as well, but the answer is 42. Do you know that reference, Task? If I say the answer is 42?
No idea.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? You don't?
I never watched it.
No. It was the powerful computer that said, come back in 1 billion years and I'll tell you the answers to everything. And the answer to everything was 42. So maybe Bitcoin just half that. I don't know.
So it's 500 million years. I don't know. Yeah. Tokenized. I have had battles with Bitcoin maxis, and it's always the same thing. I'm like, you people are full of shit from the start. Where did 21 million come from? Somebody pulled that out of their ass. That has no applicability to market. The market didn't decide. It was just pulled out of somebody's ass. And, so what does it mean? Who knows? That maybe somebody was a blackjack lover and that's what it did. So, it's what is the total number of Hive that can be issued? Who knows? Because not only do you have an inflation rate it's disinflation down to whatever it is, a 0.25 or whatever it eventually gets down to by, block number, 600 billion or whatever it is.
Right.
But with HBD conversions, you don't know the elasticity between HBD and Hive or the relationship between those two creates monetary elasticity. So, how many HBD can you have? Who the hell knows? I mean, it depends on what the community, quote unquote, what people want to do. And most of that is, in big numbers would have to be converted by taking Hive and converting it over to HBD. And then, the reverse could be true depending on the scenario. So, there's some type of elasticity based upon, you would think, market demand. The inflation rate was set, whether the inflation rate is right or wrong, really doesn't matter because it can be adjusted based upon that correlation.
Right. That's theories. Captain Silva in Vim says maybe it was just some computer nerd who was 21 years old, and
we can go with that too.
We can go with that. That's what I think we go with that one. Perfect.
It
makes no sense.
It's how many beers Tokenized drank yesterday.
Yes, exactly. Heineken, at least he's picking a good beer. I don't drink beer anymore, but if I did, it was always Heineken. Heineken or Guinness. That was my two.
How the fuck can you afford that type of stuff, man?
Well, this was when I was, Mr. Internet Marketer, and I was, making more money than I knew what to do with. It was fantastic. It was the liquid diet. Anyways. Tokenized follows up with another question. I heard on a recent CTT podcast that the consensus mechanism of Speak Network will be something that they are calling over-collateralized proof of stake, but I didn't quite understand it. Are you familiar with the concept that they're implementing? That's a mouthful. Do you know what they're talking about there?
Yeah, I believe so. What they're doing with their node systems is they're having over collateralized nodes, and the reason being is certain financial applications, especially when you're starting to run smart contracts and DeFi, unlike Hive, where the witness nodes on Hive do nothing more than run the ledger, primarily from a monetary standpoint. So they keep track of the transactions based upon transactions. Of course, they prevent the double spend problem. They keep track of transactions, which then means they update balances, keep track of balances, all that good stuff. That's all that's done effectively with the money at the base layer. And it's just running the code that's, programmed at the base layer. When you get into DeFi, when you get into smart contracts, you get services that the node effectively could become a counterparty risk. So the idea is, by having over collateralization, let's say you have some type of payment system that is delayed and the node holds it. And let's say it's up to, I don't know, let's say $3,000. Well, if you had a node that puts up $5,000 worth of collateral, the incentive to steal the $3,000 is much reduced because they have $5,000 on the line. So that's really what they're talking about in terms of over collateralization of nodes. Is you're putting a cap, and basically this is, if you think of a centralized exchanges, where they get in trouble is centralized exchanges start taking stuff and they start leveraging it up, and they start getting involved in these arrangements, these financial arrangements, and then next thing you know, if somebody goes for the money, it's not there. And this is all designed to help prevent and diminish the counterparty risk. This is where you hear Disregard Fiat talk about things such as multi-sig. That's another way to enhance security, to reduce counterparty risk, increase trust. Vaultec talked about VSC, which I believe it's also going to be with Speak Network, where let's say, for example, you have a smart contract. Instead of having that smart contract on one node, you have that smart contract being run on 50 nodes, all different nodes, not related, different people running the nodes, and each having collateralization tied to the node. So now you have less risk associated with that smart contract because the smart contract's replicated and being run on many different nodes. Those nodes are over collateralized. So anything that smart contract is doing in terms of financial services that do require, how do I phrase this, if you will, a holding of the value, that risk is mitigated because there is collateralization. Now, the specifics of how they're doing it, I haven't checked into. I haven't followed close enough. I don't know if you post HBD on Speak Network. I don't know if you post some of Speak Network's tokens. I don't know how they've had it set up. I didn't look at it close enough. And the DPoS nature, I'm going to presume, is mimicking Hive, where instead of stake weighting, where if you're a node and you have 50% of the stake tied to you, you have a 50% chance of winning any node. I would imagine they're going to do something like Hive, where it's a rotation system based on stake. There may be some consensus, where those people are in consensus, let's say 10, 20, I don't know, whatever they do. They share in the node and it's on a round robin rotational basis. Then you have others based upon their stake. That's, again, I haven't looked into what they're doing with the DPoS, but that's one of the features I would imagine they probably copied from Hive if I had to guess, but I can't say for certain.
There you go. Good question. Hope that helps, Tokenize. Rich Taylor is up. Just crazy cowboy. If you could get one thing changed to increase adoption, what would it be? One thing that would probably Threads, because Rich has been in love with Threads the past week now, so he's probably thinking Threads. If you could change one thing, what would it be?
Threads, I don't know. I think if we go outside, I'm going to answer it going outside in. For all this to succeed, I think ultimately it's smart contracts for Hive and what we've just been talking about, layer 2 sidechain smart contracts, because that allows for for more development. More development brings in more people.
Right.
I think Leo Finance has made a good move with the communities, and we'll see how that is. That should help feed into Threads. Threads itself, I don't know if I can point exactly to one thing, because there's, a lot of things being discussed, a lot of things being, it's kind of evolutionary. I don't think there's just one answer in terms of, hey, if this gets implemented, now we're ready for prime time. I mean, you have Leo Cash is actually one thing that's really needed for not cash, CASH, CACHE.
Right.
That's needed for scaling. So, that's really one thing that's very necessary, because if you get mass adoption, but the site crashes at, 20,000 threads a day, if you have enough people to do 100,000, you better be able to do 100,000. And Leo Cash is required for that. So, I think right now we have to keep in mind Leo Threads with the new UI, which is really the kickoff of Leo Threads. I know we had it over on the old UI, but that was kind of a pain in the neck and wasn't very efficient and was slow and clunky. This new UI is sleek. It's fast. It looks like Twitter. It looks more like a mobile app, even on desktop. We're not even 60 days in. I mean, this was released on May 1st. So I think we just have to give it a little bit of time and see where we are as we head into the fall. The team's well aware of what the issues are. The team is well aware of what they're trying to do. And I don't think there's any magic wands that I've heard Cal mention or anybody else mention. I think it's a lot of just evolutionary stuff like the GIFs. Now that everybody's over it, is our GIFs a game changer? No, but it's a nice feature to have. Emojis,
yeah, right.
a nice feature to have. The edit button on long form content.
What are you going to bug Cal about now, though? Now that the edit button is like there, like, what are you going to do? How can you exist now?
Well, I mean, we need adult threads, and now Cal has to deal with me and Nifty on adult threads. But anyway, I digress. No, it's the reason why. Do you know the reason why I was pissed off about the edit button? Because I couldn't do anything on Leo Glossary.
Leo Glossary, yeah. No,
so I mean, it's, but these are things that are getting improved, and I think that's what we have to look for. It's all about the user experience, and the little things. An emoji may not be anything big to me, because I don't use emojis that much. And to be honest with you, if I want to add emoji, I'm on desktop. I right click and there's emoji right in my browser. But to somebody on mobile, it's a lot easier to have it right there and, to do emojis. And a lot of people like using emojis. They even download different emojis to their phone and they can use them. So, there's no telling what gets people excited, but we want it all so people can get excited. In the meantime, it's just the intern, I think, still has to be working out the bugs, trying to add more features, but getting these bugs worked out is crucial.
Right. Yeah, that's what Sad Cry was saying on the threads too. Just further down, he was like, these are the little things that we need to get fixed. And
well, okay,
for adoption.
I'll give a shout out to Sad Cry. Threadcast scheduler. We need that. We need a Threadcast scheduler where I or John can go in for the Crypto Maniacs and say the show's at 8. Here's the Threadcast, and somebody can look at it and say, "Oh, 8 o'clock, Crypto Maniacs. Let me go ask a question." Oh, 12 o'clock ish. There's the AMA. Okay, that's great. Oh, 9 o'clock AM. There's an EPL game. Oh, good. I want to see that. I want to be involved in that. Those are things that we've discussed that I think, and Sad Cry is just pulling out his hair. He's waiting for that. But that would be a cool feature. That would be a separator.
For sure. I hope that helps, Rich. I mean, just for me personally, just if I could change one thing, and I know it's been discussed the past week. I've seen a lot of talk. To me, it's still the branding, Threads, and then on top of it, we hear that Meta is creating a Twitter clone called Threads. Go figure. These people have no creativity at all. But no, seriously, like Zuckerberg is. Remember when their little image was the exact same logo as Steam? You remember that? Remember the Steam logo was they did the, like, these guys. I'm sure they're sitting there watching what's going on here, and they're just taking ideas there. Anyways.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, and they'll never give credit.
That and he's like, just sue us.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
We'll steal your logo. Sue us.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, but that's the one thing I would change. I think Threads is a fantastic brand. I think it's a great app. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. You tell people to go to leofinance.io/threads, it confuses them. So that's what I would suggest for more adoption. Maybe not mass adoption, but more adoption. I think that would be. But I'm beating a dead horse. And they were talking about it the past week. So it's, I shall shut my trap. Best start, John, friend of the show. He says, with the resurrection of Leo communities, do you aim to be more here and leave Discord? Well, if it was up to task, he would take everyone's Discord and delete it as quickly as possible. Like, and I get that Peak D did their little Sting chat thing, and it's cute, it's cool. I would rather... Every time me and Crazy Cowboy start talking in the CTB Discord, it was me, him, and I think it was Sports Nerd yesterday. We were just like, okay, let's go to Threads. Like it's like I want to bring people to Threads more than sitting there on Discord. Discord does nothing for me. It does nothing for anyone. It's like
Discord is a good private messenger app. Discord is good. If you have a community or if you have a group for technical issues, bug issues, things of that nature, fine. But for people to sit in these general chats on these Discord groups for Leo, for CTP, whatever, and just chit chat about bullshit all day about the markets or about Hive or about technology or about Elon Musk or Twitter or whatever, it's like throw that shit on Threads and do that talking on Threads. If you have something, and in fact, here's the deal with Threads. If you have a fucking question about Hive, you have a question about Leo, don't ask it in Leo Discord. Those people ignore you. Yeah. Throw it on Threads. Odds are you'll get a quicker answer. If you ask, what's HP? What's this high power stuff? Why do I run out of resource credits? What does that mean? You'll get answers. You ask that in Discord, they'll just ignore you because it's like you're not in the click.
True. But yeah, John, I would love to see more people just talk on Threads. If you need me, tag me. I'll get the notification. It's a beautiful thing. Bradley Arrow taking part in
tag him 50 times in a day.
Yes, just like
it's been done before.
Yes, tag me 50 times while I'm driving, cement trucks around the city and, crashing into curbs. It's great. Notification.
I can attest he'll reply if you tag him 50 times. I don't know about 100. I'll have to see if I tag him 100 times if he'll reply.
Oh, man. Bradley Arrow.
You're the one who went and got a job. I'm home all day. You can't do shit.
Pay me. Hire me to be your cheerleader. There you go.
You don't need that. You just need to figure out how to get Cal to put a block feature so you block me and keep me out of your notifications. You show up from a 10-hour day and I hit you with 100 notifications.
Dude, it's hard to keep up, man. It's really hard. Like I miss
really
so
good.
much.
You know what? I'm gonna fuck you because I'm gonna offer Bradley Arrow 10 HBD to do the same thing, and between the two of us, you'll have 250. It'll take you a week to get through your notice.
Good. Thankfully, Bradley gets my name or my username right.
He'll be
maybe once out of every 6 times. So go ahead, give him 20 HBD. He wants to know if there's any updates on Hive Sucre. Well, Amundo is always sending me links and like, here we're doing this and we're doing that, so I know he's active.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they have anything definitive. I mean, they're trying to add more. Omar, and I'm not even going to try to say his last name because I'll just bungle it up. But he's on Threads quite frequently now, and I've engaged with him a little bit. You know, they're trying to add more community members. They're trying to add more merchants. I haven't gotten any definitive numbers, but they're just out there humping it every day, trying to get more things going.
Yep. How long? He wants to know how long before smart contracts are ready on Hive. On Hive directly?
Well, yeah, you're not going to have them on Hive directly.
You're not going to have
layer twos. They're side chains. You know, I don't know when Speak Network and BSC are what their plans are. I still stand by. I think you're going to have something rolled out by the end of the year. You know, we're closing out the first half of the year. They still have. I don't know where they are in their design, but they still have testing. They got to build test nets. They got to run test nets. They have to open it up and let people test it and try to break it. So, you know, this is a process.
Yeah, definitely. Just double checking questions here. When Leo Dow from I destroy this guy's name every time. Yua Bong. Creative voice. How about that? I'll just go with the tag. You creative voice. When Leo Dow. It's funny he mentioned this because I saw, and Vaultec responded to me because again, Vaultec, he's got more knowledge in his pinky finger about this blockchain than I do in my entire being. So when he responds, that was good. But I asked Cal the same thing, you know, on Twitter the other day when he was talking about how Leo launched Threads. Leo is this bootstrapped community that never went to the DHF, and it's fantastic. It's wonderful. And I'm sitting there thinking, the first thing that came to my mind, like, well, when can Leo get a DAO, and can it happen? And I asked the question, which Creative Voice is asking now. Vaultec gave a great response. I couldn't repeat it to save my life right now. He gave the technical reasons, but what about for you? Like, when do you think that's a possibility? Do you think it's, you know, will we be able to do it? Do you think it's a good idea? Because imagine something like that on Leo. To me, it's like, that'd be cool.
Well, are you saying set up a Leo DHF effectively?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
How are you funding it? You know, there needs to be something to fund it with, and where are you going to get the resources? I mean, if you try to use Leo and inflate Leo, then you debase the rest of the Leo that's out there, and that might upset the community. I mean, the last thing you want to do is change your structure in that regard with your inflation rate. So, you know, the reason why the Hive DAO works, the DHF, is because when the fork took place and the software was being written, the conscious decision at that time was to take that ninja mine to fund the DHF. I wouldn't know, you know, how you even begin to go about funding a Leo DAO or a Leo DHF if you built that on Leo. I presume the idea is to fund projects to, you know, to come and build and be tied to Leo. Right. You know, I don't know exactly what purpose that serves. I mean, it's okay. It'd be great to get funding for, you know, let's say Hive Glossary, but, you know, who's to say that I can't build something that using those funds that doesn't necessarily benefit Leo? I mean, I built an application, Leo pays for it, then I just change the application and move it away from Leo to something else. Those are two questions I have. Is first off, where do you get the money? How do you fund this thing? And second off, do you really need it? I mean, there could be other ways to do it.
I'm obviously not the sharpest tool in the shed, but this is just, I'm spitballing an idea here. What happens if you and I got thunderstorms rolling through, so if things go haywire, that's why. I'm on Starlink. Not always the best reception when there's clouds in the sky, but we won't talk about Elon today. This is just how would something like this work? If you would go to the community and say, listen, your post payouts, you can, by default, 5% of your post payouts go to fund the DAO. You can allow it. It's defaulted. You could allow it or you can take it. It's totally up to you. But do you, like, for me personally, 5% of my Leo going into a DAO? Absolutely. Sure. I would do it in a heartbeat. I don't know if everyone would do it, but if you put it out there, I believe Leo is that type of community that would want to support something like that. Is that some way you could fund it?
Sure. I mean, it potentially could. I mean, I don't know what the inflation rate is, but yeah, I mean, you could have 5% of the rewards going into a DAO if you wanted. But then you have to build the whole mechanism of how do you vote this? How do you fund it? What do you fund? What is being tied to Leo? Because we know, and the problem is you know damn well the DHF gets abused. You know damn well there's money that goes out and it doesn't ever come back. When you're dealing with something like Leo, which is much smaller, much tighter, it's a layer 2. It's not even base layer. You know, so we're not, I mean, we are building some infrastructure, but Leo's building the infrastructure. It's not even like the DHF supporting Speak Network, which is building infrastructure for decentralized video storage, which is going to be, you know, tied into Hive. I just don't know if it would serve a purpose. You're talking, I mean, there may be a way to do it, but it's like, it seems like we're progressing in the right direction, and there's other ways as opposed to a DAO. You know, now you're just looking at a funding mechanism. It's like, why not just build stuff where the Leo token can be leveraged and collateralized for a loan, and then people can, you know, fund their projects through their loans. That'd be much easier. And you know, your collateral is your Leo that you put up.
Yeah. Whatever happened to that? Remember Leo, the loan thing? They did the D-lease kind of clone for Leo. Is that still around?
That's still there. It still does. What did it do? It was high power delegation, wasn't it? Yeah, it was high power.
Well, I delegated Leo to it. It was a Leo power.
Okay, I forget what it was, but yeah, that's still there. It's Cal actually threaded about that, saying, "What can we do to make this more utilized? We still have it; it still runs. What can we do?" You know, these are all things that, you know, John. I'm going to go off on a little tangent here, but
please do. Yes.
Tesla right now, it's very interesting because I look at Tesla, I look at Hive, I look at Leo, I look at all these systems. And, you know, depending on where you are, you look at it and it looks like a hot mess. Right. And it's like with the charging for the EV charging for Tesla. You know, now Volvo today announced that they're going to adopt the standard in North America and on the EV charging. And this is, I guess, the fourth company, Ford, GM, Rivian being the first three, and now Volvo. And this is in the last month. Now, if you talk to anybody surrounding Tesla, how many people said, oh, their charging network has extreme value? A month and a half ago, the naysayers, they're not even giving any credit. Yet now, 3 major car companies and legacy car companies have adopted this standard. And so I hear about Dojo. I hear about the miles driven on full self-driving, and now their AI is starting to come together, and they're going to have an 100 exascale AI computer by the end of 2024. And the point I'm making is you end up with these things that are scattered all over the place, and there looks like no cohesion. It looks like nothing's going anywhere. And you have, you know, Hive stats. You got, you know, Leo decks. You got this. You got that. You got the other thing. You got Cub Finance, Polycub. It's like, what's happening with this? What's happening with that? And all this stuff looks like it's just all disconnected, nothing happening. But what ends up happening is you go through a period like I think I'm seeing with Tesla now, is where it starts to come together. And it's like you make enough advancements in some of these different areas where all of a sudden it's like some of the dots get connected and the bridges are built. And it's like, holy crap, look at what we have here. Right. Where was that, a year and a half ago? Well, a year and a half ago, it was scattered all over the place and disconnected, but the seeds were there. And I think that's what's happening with, Leo, is we have all these things scattered. We got a few different apps. Only Leo Threads has ads on it. You can put ads on the other ones. You can improve them. You can update them. A lot of things you can do. But right now, the focus is on Threads and LeoFinance.io and Leo Infra and Leo Cash and some of these things that are tied to this. But, over time, this will all bleed into the other areas and hopefully put more value into the entire ecosystem.
Right. Tokenized, I figured I'd show the picture for you right there so you can see the Heineken with Crypto Maniacs live stream on his computer. He also helped me out remembering it was called LeoFi. That's what the
LeoFi, that's LeoFi. Right. Yep.
And also more, he's just filled with juicy stuff today. He said he would also support Leo DAO with a 5% default or something. That's why I think like the community would support something like that. Leo people, and I mean, people, the community as a whole, different breed, man. Like everyone I've met on Leo so far wants Leo to succeed. Like no one sits there and goes, "Oh, this token is crap. I'm selling it." Like I haven't met that. I'm
sure
they
you weren't around. You weren't living here a year and a half ago. They were saying that over last year.
Oh yeah. No, I know. I get that. But right now, I just see this community. That would be something they would get behind.
Well, right now, people see those who have half a brain understand business, and they could see some business principles. And to his credit, a nomad soul. Mm-hmm. He brought something basic. He started talking about MAUs. He started talking about growth. He started doing initiatives to try to bring people in. He tried to do this. And, whether you agree with a lot of stuff or not, it doesn't matter. He is bringing business principles in, business building principles. He's bringing metrics in and putting metrics in that are quantifiable. They're measurable. So you can see how you're doing from month to month to month. And, monthly variations, anybody will tell you. I mean, that doesn't tell you a whole lot. But when you had nothing before, you kind of hang on to these monthly fluctuations. But over time, you'll start to see a trend. And hopefully the trend is in MAUs and page views, in number of threads, and, whatever metrics you start using, they keep heading up and up and up. And if that's the case, then you start to realize that, hey, there's something going on here. And when you start to hear some type of plan and you see a counter going up and you see talk that is more than just talk of ad revenue and stuff like that, there's a lot to get excited about. And you don't see that with other tokens. And nobody's sitting here saying, me included, oh, well, buy Leo so you can make my bag skyrocket. And buy Leo because it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's like, if you don't see how clicks, how activity relates to ad revenue, which relates to buy pressure on the token, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, there's a very simple process there that should be evident to anybody who looks closely. Now, some people may not buy into it until it actually goes live. And, that's when I think you'll see a big influx, when it actually goes live and there's a distribution and all of a sudden somebody says, I got my Leo ad revenue payout. And, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be 2 Leo, right. 2 more Leo than they had.
Yeah. Well, like you said, I think anyone that has a basic understanding of business sees how this is lining up. And it's funny, this will relate to, we have a great live audience in Vim right now. We even got Sad Cry came over, Unorg Militias, and the logical dude is watching. We got a nice crowd in Vim, and of course on Threads. But yeah, anyone with half of business sense will see how this is setting up. This is why I'm not saying I'm buying 100 Leo a day dollar cost averaging into this, and everyone else should, so my bags get pumped. No, I'm saying I see over 20 plus years of being in the advertising online business, knowing this model, how this model works. Now it's taking that model that has been very successful. Just look at Google. Google has built their entire fortune on this model, and now taking it and rewarding the people that actually hold the token. Simple math here. Like, this is not complicated stuff. Demand, massive use case, thriving community, an app that's a lot of fun to use. You mix it all in, you put it into a blender, and you have, to me, the no-brainer of no-brainers. Again, I'm not saying go buy these, so pump my bags. I'm buying it because, to me, Leo under 10 cents is stupid simple for me. Like, yes, please.
I did a thread, and this is ultimately going to lead into my article for tonight, John. And I took a look at the top 3 websites. Top 3 websites are Google, YouTube, and Facebook. And those are top 3 websites by daily visitors. And I took the daily visitors and I timed them by the average page on site. Right. This is daily. This is not monthly. Daily. And I may be off with my numbers because I'm trying to go from memory here. But Facebook was at like 40 billion pages a day. 40 billion. Not million, 40 billion. YouTube was at like 370 billion pages a day. And Google was like at 600 billion. But, Google is a search engine, so it's a little different. But, when you're looking at YouTube, when you're looking at Facebook, and yes, they're the creme de la creme. These are number 2 and number 3 largest sites on the internet. But you're talking one like 40 or 50 billion and another 350 billion page views per day. I mean, come on.
That's crazy.
It's just absolutely insane. So when you start to look at the online advertising revenues, they get into stupid numbers for a reason, because it is insane.
I wish I could take what you said and just frame it, and then it's gonna have a big. I can see it. I'm gonna do this in Canva, dude. I'm gonna Picasso this. I'm gonna take your bite-sized quotes, what you just said, and on top it's gonna have big flashing lights. Told you so. And I'm just gonna put it out there in 6 months from now. But anyways, apparently, and of course, Forex Broker is tuning in as well. Awesome to have him. He said apparently there is a lot of people pooping on Leo in other Hive discords. I'm in such a little bubble, man, and this goes back to my January 1st mantra of saying I'm gonna trim the fat and just focus. I literally am the only 2. I have a couple of others, but not really Hive related. But the only 2 Hive related discords I'm a part of that I pay attention is Leo and ZTP. That's it. I'm so in my bubble, which is a blessing and a curse. I get it. But I did not know. Apparently, there is a lot of people that poop on Leo, but I don't know. So
yeah, it's they're. I mean, hell, last week there was a DDoS attack while we were on the air.
Right. So, yeah. No,
I mean, I don't know what is up with these people, but it is what it is. Fine. Poop on Leo. And, I hope Leo becomes worth $100 million. Yeah. It'll make Hive worth a fortune too. But, I mean, 100 million, you're looking at what, 16 times what's 6 times 16? That's 96. So
96.
$6.5 bucks puts you at that 100 million. Is that possible? I don't know. But again, if you start talking about the idea of taking this model, and we call it the ad revenue model, but it's really not. The ad revenue is actually the second thing. The first thing was the HP delegation, because that's buying Leo and distributing. Okay, it's not distributing to LP holders, but it's distributing to those who delegate HP. But that's buying Leo off the market out of revenues generated by the bridges. I think it is, or maybe one of the arbitrage bots or something like that.
Right.
Now you add in Leo ads. Now, next thing you add in, what about subscriptions and taking a piece of subscriptions? What about if you have some type of DEX built and there's some transaction fees that they get a little piece of? There's all these different types of things that can be built that keep feeding into this, that they're revenues, and they bring in money from the outside. And next thing you know, you're buying Leo at insane amounts of money. I mean, just look at those clicks that I just said. And what if you get a fraction of that? I'm not saying getting, 100 million clicks a day. Forget that. I'm not saying getting, Tucker Carlson, 60 million clicks on one video. Forget that crap. But, you get these clicks where you get a couple million a day. What's that worth?
Yeah. That's why
your wallet, if you own Leo Power. That's the thing.
Yeah. Great show, dude. Final count, 72 views, 1.57 Leo in buyback, 48 comments, and everyone was very active on Vim and on Threads. So we appreciate it.
Yeah, and this is our broadcast, and 74 clicks or whatever it was, and approximately 1.5 Leo. Nobody's getting rich off that, but again, 74 clicks. Go on YouTube, go on Twitter, and see how many tweets have that.
Yeah,
I mean, I just went on earlier. To get some info for this article. And I just saw a 3Speak one, 240. What does 240 equal? Times that by 3, about 4.5 Leo. And this is just one thing they put up. And it's mostly viewed by high people.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not like 3Speak's really reaching the mass market. So, these are the things. It's, if you just think about it and you think about each of these threads getting 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 clicks, which isn't a lot.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you add all that up over thousands and thousands and thousands of threads and comments a day, and it's like, holy fuck, we're making some serious bank then. Based upon what we're seeing on the thread counters, which again, that's just an estimate. So I'm not holding them to that and saying, no, this is exactly what it's going to be.
Right.
But
it's just a gauge.
Yeah, it's a gauge. Exactly. But look at the damn gauge and see what clicking on a couple of threads means. And, add that up over, 5,000 people. We're not even talking 500,000 people on threads. We're talking, add that up over 5,000 users. And what does that amount to? A hell of a lot. And if you're, as we talked about last Thursday, John, if you're a 50,000 monthly or daily active user, or I guess we said monthly active user, if you're 50,000 monthly active users on the internet, you're still a nothing. You're not even registered on anything. You're just, you're a flea. That's what the internet is. I mean, that's how big it is.
Sky's the limit, man. Dude, Thursday, another Threadcast.
Yep.
We need to get double. Let's shoot for double the views. So.
Yeah, and I got it up a little late, but I did get it up a couple hours before the show. It's I don't want to put it up too early in the day, John, because sometimes it freezes that
Right.
And if it gets to be 6 hours old, then you get non-index stuff and all that other crap. So we're feeling our way through, folks.
It's working. It's working. And the audience makes it that much better. So we appreciate you guys for checking us out. We'll see you on Thursday. Get out there, create, curate, engage, and have fun stacking. Toodles.